My name is Alec Brogel, and for my final project, I took a comparative look at different free steganography tools and compared them against one another at how well they could each hide and unhide data, and if a different tool was able to hide the data that a previous tool was able to hide. First of all, what is steganography? Steganography is the practice of concealing a message or information within other non-secret text or data, which, in other words, it's hiding data in plain sight so that an unsuspecting eye won't know that there's data hidden in what they're looking at. Steganography is often thought of as a form of cryptography, and in some aspects they can be seen as similar, but their methods of reaching their objectives are different. Steganography's big highlight is that the data is never visible while also being hidden in plain sight, whereas it's always visible when something is encrypted. So someone seeing an encrypted file will know that there's some sort of useful data behind the encryption. Steganography also doesn't always require a key, as its objective is to be completely hidden to where you wouldn't even realize it's there to need a key in the first place. But having a key makes it that much more secure. Steganography can be used maliciously or with good intentions, such as a hospital using it to embed important medical records in a patient's image so as to prevent confusion with the records. Steganography can also be used maliciously, such as when hiding harmful data in a seemingly innocent picture. And although it hasn't been proven, it is believed that the 9/11 attacks used some form of steganography to relay instructions or directions to the terrorists from different parts of the world. For this project, I installed numerous free steganographic tools on my computer and virtual computer to test hiding data in different file types and then trying to unhide the hidden data using the same tool as well as a different tool. The steganographic tools that I installed and were able to successfully use to some degree were OpenPuff, StegHide, Xiao Steganography, S-Suite Piskel, Coagula, and Sonic Visualizer. OpenPuff can hide and unhide data for numerous image, audio, video, and Flash Adobe file types, and this is what we used in Lab 6 to successfully unhide data in images. While using it in the lab was successful, it was unsuccessful in trying to hide any data during the course of this project. I tried a variety of file types, and none of them were able to be hidden successfully. And I also was unable to unhide data that I used in other tools that I used throughout this project. I installed StegHide on my virtual Kali machine, and it can hide and unhide data in JPEGs, BMP, WAV, and audio file types. I was able to successfully hide a text file inside of a JPEG, which can be seen on the right, the note.txt, as well as the picture of the shoes. And underneath it, you can see the coding that I used to successfully hide it. And other tools during the course of this project were unsuccessful in unhiding the data that StegHide was able to hide. I used a brute force from a password list to successfully find the password needed for unhiding the data in this JPEG, as StegHide requires a password when you do hide the data. For testing purposes, I used a password that I knew was on this word list to see whether or not it would be able to crack it, and sure enough it did, as seen in the bottom right. And so my conclusion is that if you have a strong enough password and both ends, the sender and the receiver, are using StegHide, you will successfully be able to send a hidden data file within an image. Xiao Steganography can hide and unhide data for WAV and BMP file types. I was successful in hiding a text file inside of a WAV file, and I was also successful in unhiding the text file into a new file called new.txt. The first column of images shows the process of selecting the WAV file, selecting the text file, and then it also gave you numerous encryption options and hashing algorithms, as well as a password to make sure that whatever you're trying to hide is successfully and thoroughly hidden. I tried to use OpenPuff to unhide this data, as it did require a password, and OpenPuff requires that you enter a password when unhiding data, but it still was unable to crack what I was hiding, even when selecting all of the different bit options. SweetPiscal, or SweetPiscal, can hide and unhide data in BMP, JPEG, PNG, and WMF file types. I was able to successfully hide a message in a JPEG, but I was unsuccessful in decrypting that same image that I was able to encrypt within this program. I tried using an online steganography tool to try and decode the message, which it did decode it, but since it encrypts it at the same time, the message that it recovered was completely illegible and served no use at all. So this program was successful with hiding a message, but unsuccessful in unhiding the message that it hid. Coagula is a very unique program that I found while researching this project, and I had a lot of fun with it, as it allowed me to create a drawing of whatever I wanted that was then turned into a WAV file based on where everything laid down and how thick it was when you drew it. The audio file plays back and sounds very robotic, to where someone who is not expecting anything would listen to it and just think that it might be part of a movie or just some random sound bit, and would be completely unaware that it's really a hidden image file. In order to unhide what I hid using Coagula, I installed Sonic Visualizer. This can open WAV, OGG, and MP3 files, and the way that it works is you first upload the file, which is what the top row of photos is, where you can see the blue sound waves, and the program has different layers that you can view on top of the inputted file, such as waveform or spectrogram, and then once you insert those onto it, it'll show you a different view of that same audio file. And so in the first column, you can see what I drew in the previous slide, the test image, and the second column is just a regular audio file that I recorded, no hidden image in it, and it doesn't show any data because there's no hidden data in it. But this program was successful in unhiding the data that Coagula hid. Researching this project, I installed more tools than the ones that I was actually able to use, and some of the unsuccessful tools are listed below, and they are OpenStego, EXIF tool, Steganograph X Plus, and Encrypture, and either the tools would not load whatsoever on my computer, or they wouldn't accept any sort of file to where I couldn't use the tool at all. But these were just some of the other free tools that supposedly anybody could use, but I wasn't able to use them even when following YouTube videos or tutorials on them. At the end of this project, my findings showed that only StegHide and Xiao Steganography were able to both hide data and then unhide the data within the same tool. If this was to be used in the real world, both sender and receiver would need to have this installed on their computer in order for them to be able to successfully send hidden data back and forth to one another. Coagula impressed me the most with being able to paint something that is then turned into a WAV file. I had a lot of fun doing that and researching that tool, and was very unique compared to the others and not something that I knew could be done, and overall just taught me a lot more about steganography. In the end, free tools are able to perform some of the unhiding and the hiding work, but a paid tool should be able to perform those for all data file types rather than just a select few, and then unhide the data that it itself hid, as well as unhiding data that was hidden using a different tool. Thank you.